Cody Bellinger opted out of his contract, and we're going to tell you why the Yankees should say goodbye to Belly and move on to someone new on an all-new Locked On Yankees.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. He's Brian McKeon. We're both lifelong Yankee fans, and between us, we have about 20 years of experience covering this team in various different ways. How are you doing today, Brian?
I'm doing all right. Nice afternoon show for you guys on some of your lunch breaks.
Yeah. Today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. On today's show, more players around baseball have had their options picked up or declined. We'll tell you who. Max Fried snubbed in Cy Young voting. Ooh, we're going to talk about that. But first, why we think the Yankees should focus on Kyle Tucker and not Cody Bellinger.
Yeah, I know sometimes we can fall in love with players that have been around and we've seen success wearing pinstripes. So we think that those are the guys they need to keep around. And it does feel like a shortened length of time if Bellinger only spends a year in the Bronx after making a trade for him. I can hear all those arguments, but I don't know about you, Stacey. To me, I've done the research and I think the only answer is Kyle Tucker. And I think they should move full force after going after Kyle Tucker. Don't worry about Bellinger. Don't worry about a backup plan. Go after plan number one, and plan number one should be Kyle Tucker. You look at some of the numbers from last year, I would not judge 2025 as the basis of where you're going to go after, whether it's Kyle Tucker or Cody Bellinger. Kyle Tucker came into the year hurt. That was revealed later in the year. He tried playing through the injury through most of the year, then sat for a bit, came back, played well, and then got re-aggravated the injury, got hurt again. Still put up productive numbers throughout the year, which is crazy to think about playing injured throughout the entire season. Also, this is a primarily productive offensive player who just went to play in a corner outfield position in Wrigley Field, which is one of the least productive offensive positions a player can play in. Right. So let's include all of those things and also notice Yankees also acquired Cody Bellinger from the Cubs over to the Yankees, and notice how Bellinger's numbers improved. There's a good chance you bring over Tucker and his numbers will also improve. So we took data points from the last 3 seasons, not the last 2. I don't think it's fair to Kyle Tucker to give him over the last season because he was hurt and he played in Wrigley Field. So looking at the last 3 years, first of all, let's go over contract numbers. Right now, these are going to fluctuate throughout the offseason as teams start bidding on players and as more reports come out. Stacey, right now, I think this number's low. Just to throw it out there, I'm going to get your opinion on this immediately, but I think this number's low. Baseball America projects Kyle Tucker finishing out at 11 years, $360 million. That's $32.7 million per year. Your first initial thought?
That feels low. It
feels like I'd sign it immediately. Like if I got that notification right now, the Yankees signed that deal, I'd be thrilled at $32.7 million a year. Now, in contrast, they have Cody Bellinger signing at 6 years, $175 million. That's $29.2 million. I'm sorry, for $3.5 million more per year, or $2.5 million more per year, I'm all over Kyle Tucker in this spot. I think Kyle Tucker's worth it for the extra $2.5 million per year, to be honest with you. Yeah. Plus, you're getting a younger player by 2 years. So to me, that all adds up into wanting Kyle Tucker more than Cody Bellinger. I know the years would scare some of you. This is the battleground you have to get into if you want to sign a young player like this. If you want to sign a superstar player, you have to be willing to go the extra length with the years. I don't think they wanted to give Max Fried all the years they gave him either. You have to do it to get the player.
Isn't it funny to you that 29 is young, but 32 isn't?
It's because of where the prime is at, though.
No, I know.
Because 29,
you're
still, because 29, you're still right in the heart of your prime. Yeah. And 32, you're exiting your prime.
Right.
So I agree with you. It is wild how it's a
so funny.
Gap, but it is a big gap when it comes to sports. Just to throw out there right now, Fangraphs has the Dodgers landing Kyle Tucker, which is, of course
they do.
Which they do need a corner outfielder. So like that actually does fit completely. But
I'm actually interested to see what MLB trade rumor says, because they're usually really close when it comes to figuring out what free agents are going to get.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's just a base of the numbers. Again, the 2 years younger is really what's killing people. Tucker's right in his prime, and you're going to get more prime years as opposed to Bellinger. Right. Weighted runs created. Tucker's WRC plus is 147 over the last 3 years. Bellinger's is 123. That's a pretty significant gap. Now, an average player in baseball, the WRC plus is 100. So they're both well above average. But 147 to 123 is a pretty significant difference. Tucker's on base percentage over the last 3 years, 380. Bellinger's is 338. Tucker's slugging percentage is 511. Bellinger's is 477. Not a major gap in these numbers, Stacey, but still enough of a gap to show how much better of a player Kyle Tucker is.
Yes.
Tucker was very injured this year. I want to keep that in mind. Plus, you're acquiring a lefty, which most people do love in Yankee Stadium. Lefties in Houston, Yankee Stadium hit really well. Lefties in Chicago historically do not hit very well, especially Wrigley Field. Let's also take into account he goes into last year, gets injured in spring training, fights through an injury, plays as a lefty in Wrigley Field, which is not a predominantly heavily offensively gifted batting spot to bat in the batting order, being a left-hander at Wrigley Field with the wind. Plus, he had to move himself and his whole family to a different city on a 1-year contract. That is a whole thing to battle with too. So that could have something to do with his numbers being down last year. Everyone loved Bellinger last year because of the K rate. He doesn't strike out a lot. In the last 3 seasons, Bellinger has one of the lowest K rates in all of baseball at 14.9%. Kyle Tucker's 14.5%, lower than Bellinger's. Tucker also puts the ball in the air significantly more than Cody Bellinger, which I think is valuable for Yankee Stadium as a lefty. Tucker's pull percentage is also 45%. Bellinger's is 43.9%. Not a huge difference, but you do want a player that pulls the ball a lot as a lefty in Yankee Stadium. That's historically what Brian Cashman exactly looks for. A pull left-handed power hitter, which is exactly what Kyle Tucker is. Bellinger's barrel rate over the last 3 seasons, which is a stat that I know a lot of you are probably rolling your eyes at, but it is a stat that GMs and everyone kind of look at nowadays. 6.7%. Kyle Tucker's 11%. That's a pretty big gap, Stacey. It's almost double. So he's barreling the ball up. He pulls the ball more, and he's a left-handed hitter in Yankee Stadium. That's probably going to lead to a lot more home runs, you would think. And Bellinger almost got to the 30, did get to the 30 home run mark. Right now, if Kyle Tucker played in Yankee Stadium next year, they're projecting his home run total to be around 38 home runs. That's a pretty big gap, I would think. We also all loved Bellinger's base running last year. We all included that in one of the big significant upgrades that he had over other players the Yankees have had. Fangraphs does a stat called BSR. It's really one of the truly most reputable base running statistics in baseball right now. That it's hard to track base running, but it kind of includes caught stealing, your leads, your speed around the bases, how you read balls in the gap, all that kind of good stuff when it comes to base running. League average is just at 0 for base running skills. Kyle Tucker's base running is one of the highest metrics in the entire league. He's at 7.5. Cody Bellinger over the last 3 seasons is 4.7. And we thought Bellinger was a good base runner. So if you kind of include those 2 things, that's a pretty big gap. Over the last 3 years, Tucker has 66 stolen bases. Bellinger has 42. Bellinger's defense is better, but his defensive stats kind of go up because of the versatility that he has, being able to play multiple positions. Tucker is kind of constrained to only the left and right side of the outfield. He can play either at an elite level. They do classify him as an elite level. So I think right now, with looking at those numbers, with the evidence, plus being 2 years younger, I kind of think you have to go Kyle Tucker, even if it's for the extra money. He's an elite player, and if you really think this is a win now team, Stacey, with Garrett Cole and Aaron Judge, plus the money you have invested into your pitching staff, I think you have to go for it, and you have to go for the more elite player. And to me, these numbers, Bellinger's a great player, and I love him. These numbers aren't close enough to make it, we'll get Bellinger for the cheaper price. Kyle Tucker's a significantly better player, in my opinion.
I would agree with that. And I think if the Yankees really want to help their championship window go from a crack to maybe a few inches, then they should get Kyle Tucker over Cody Bellinger. I love Bellinger. I love what he did for the team. I love the versatility with him, but it is, we joked about it earlier, but those 2 years younger it's almost like being 4 years younger in baseball. It's so strange how that works, but
especially crossing over that Mendoza line of 30.
30. Yes.
Like 30, that 30-year-old mark in sports is a huge marker, especially in baseball. And teams will pay significantly more for a guy south of 30 as opposed to north of 30. They just will.
Yeah.
So he's right in that window. I want to add this too, and we're going to break this down on Thursday's show if you guys tune into that show. But Trent Grisham's projected salary marker right now is 4 years, $72 million. There's a world where they bring in Tucker and Grisham. I don't know how populated that world is. But there is a world where that happens. And we're going to discuss that on Thursday, because if you make that happen, I think that's a pretty damn good offseason with a couple of bullpen additions. We'll discuss it on Thursday and really go over the legitimacy of how much what our chances are that can happen. But as opposed to this going on right now, I think you have to go full force over Kyle Tucker instead of Cody Bellinger. And I love Bellinger, love what he did for the team. Like you said, the argument online that 1 year isn't enough for Cody, if the circumstances were different, I'd agree with you. But there's an elite level potential future Hall of Famer available. You have to go after him full force.
Right. All right. Well, don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notification so you know when our videos go up. You can also join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. If you're listening to the show, the link is in our description. If you're watching us on YouTube, there's your QR code for you on the screen. You get text from us. You can text us questions, comments, reactions to any trades and signings that are made. You also get top priority on Fan Mail Friday, which we do every week. We send out lineups during the season, any roster moves that are made in breaking news, so you don't have to keep checking social media. And we have a private Discord where you can commiserate about everything that happens in the offseason. There's a 14-day free trial. Coming up, Max Fried got snubbed in the AL Cy Young voting. We'll discuss it next.
What's up, guys? I'm here to talk to you about Gametime. The NFL season is underway, and honestly, there's nothing better than being in the stadium, surrounded by all the fans, cheering on your team. And let's be honest, getting tickets can always be such a hassle. Between the queues, login screens, and prices jumping at checkout, it can be awfully frustrating. And that's why I use Gametime. It's the app that gives the advantage back to the fans. Gametime is fast, easy, and backed by the Gametime guarantee. You'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price possible. Plus, all the fees are included, so the price you see is the price that you pay. Now, I pull up Gametime all the time to look at the ticket prices, and in just a few taps, I can see amazing deals. I'm always talking about going to my favorite NFL games, and you can get into most of your games for under $100. The app makes it super simple. I can even see the exact view from my seat before buying, and the zone deals feature, which allows me to pick my section, and Gametime picks the seats, and you'll always save big. Honestly, it's faster, cheaper, and less stressful than any other way that I've bought tickets. So download the Gametime app today. Create an account and use code one-word LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Swipe, tab, ticket, go. Download Gametime today. Guys, make sure you stay involved every single week on the show, because every Friday, we do Fan Mail Friday, where we answer your questions. And now we're opening it up for comments as well. If you're not part of the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club, this is what you have to do. You go to the Locked On Yankees YouTube channel, click on the post tab right there, and you'll see the latest post telling you to leave your questions and your comments. Ask us about the Yankees, anything in baseball, and leave us comments about our show. We'll try to get to as many as humanly possible. The deadline for this week is going to be November 6th, which is Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Stacey, before we go into Max Fried being snubbed, I want to just go over a few comments and get you guys involved in the show, because I did see some that got my eye. I want to go to this one. Project Ketcha OS, I guess is how you'd pronounce it.
Chaos. Project Chaos.
I'm sorry. My reading with these full names is just very difficult. He'd rather put money into a shortstop. While I hear what you're saying because of Volpe's lack of production, who's the guy? Who is the shortstop? Do you really want to give all that money to Bo Bichette, who's a worse shortstop statistically than Volpe, defensively? You know what I'm saying, Stacey? And yes, if that money right now was sunk into Seager from a couple of years ago, I'd love that. I'd have no problem with it. But they made that mistake years ago, choosing Volpe over Seager. You can't go back in time. Who is the better shortstop? I don't see who it is. I don't think it's Bo Bichette right now. Plus, I want to go over to this one too, because he also gave this. I'm giving you a lot of love here, Project Chaos, because you're getting entirely involved in the show. I'm all in for getting Skeens. How? What are you giving up? The whole farm? And they don't need Skeens. And Skeens is a great player. Not arguing that. But like, where is he going? You know what I mean? Like, is he going to be your 5-starter? You're going to move one of your top starters down to your 5-starter? There's no room for him, and there's other places to upgrade around the team. So I appreciate your comments. Just wanted to address those because they caught my eye. Baseball Writers America Association, Stacey, probably a club that you should have been a part of at one point, or still should be a part of, actually. They released their AL Cy Young candidates this year. And because you historically are a baseball writer, and should be involved in this group that does take care of all these accolades, I want to know what you think about Max Fried not being involved in the final 3 of the Cy Young candidacy, because I don't necessarily, at first glance, I didn't love that he wasn't a part of this. And the more I look at it, the more I kind of see where they're coming from.
Right. Because a lot of these numbers are really close, like especially between him and, say, Hunter Brown. Like the 19-5 sticks out because he has the most wins out of the guys who are here, because you got Crochet, you got Tarik Skubal, but Crochet and Tarik Skubal were going to be 1 and 2 no matter what. And, Hunter Brown isn't a bad person to have as the number 3. He had more strikeouts than Fried. Fewer innings, but only by like 6. The ERA, let's see, a little lower. It's not like when we say snubbed, it's not really a snub, honestly, because if you put Fried in the 3rd spot instead of Hunter Brown, I don't think people would be upset about it. Like, they are interchangeable, if that makes sense.
You know what's funny? I think historically people would have made an uproar about this because of the wins difference. Wins meant a lot back in the day.
And it doesn't really any.
19 to 12, though, is a big gap. Like Hunter Brown had 12 wins, Fried had 19. 19's a big gap, especially when you led the American League in wins. That to me makes a huge difference too. When you lead the American League with 19 wins, it's hard to not include that guy. Having said that, do you think WHIP was what did him in? Because Hunter Brown's WHIP was 1.025, Fried's was 1.101. That's a pretty significant gap. Do you think that's what did him in? Because that is a stat they really do follow a lot.
Possibly. Because if you compare it to, it's kind of funny, Hunter Brown's WHIP is better than Garrett Crochet, but only by like, a couple hundred of a point.
Just for bleeps and giggles, do you want to read off Tarik Skubal's?
Oh,
just to laugh.
Tarik Skubal's WHIP, 0.891.
I mean, that's a joke. Max Fried is 1.101, and that's a good WHIP.
And that's a good WHIP. Yeah.
Like, 0.891 is comical how good that is.
Yeah.
Who's your pick? If you, Stacey Gotsulias, the should be Baseball Writers of America candidate to vote for the Cy Young. When you send in that letter over the mail, because they still do that for some reason. Who are you voting?
Oh gosh.
And you can't vote Fried. No Yankee bias.
It's hard when you look at all the numbers, because Crochet and Skubal are like neck and neck. Skubal has the better ERA. Crochet has the better record. Crochet had more innings, more strikeouts, but the WHIP 1.028, which is also not bad.
It's actually a lot closer than I think.
Yeah,
I really thought it was.
I would really have a problem with this. Like, I would actually, and I know you probably shouldn't do this, but I would flip a coin because
I'm sure some guys do.
Like heads and tails. Tails would be Crochet. Actually, do I have a coin? Because if I do, hold on. Okay,
Hunter Brown's for sure 3rd.
Yes.
For sure 3rd. And before you flip the coin, let's just go over this first.
Okay.
Crochet 18-5, Tarik Skubal 13-6. Not that it really matters much to the voters. And if you were a voter right now, you would classify that as low, correct?
Right.
In the priority list of what you're defining for a Cy Young Award winner, wins and losses you're not putting as very highly ranked, correct?
Right.
ERA you're putting pretty high, right?
Yeah.
So ERA 2.59 for Crochet, 2.21 for Tarik Skubal. Innings pitched, you're going to put that as a pretty high value, right? Because today,
I think so, because in today's game, that matters. Yeah,
205 for Crochet, 195.1 for Skubal. Strikeouts, I think, are very high nowadays, right? That's a people go after guys specifically for strikeout numbers.
Yeah,
255 for Crochet, 241 for Skubal, and WHIP, which I think we'd all acknowledge is very important nowadays, almost more important than ERA to some voters. 1.028 for Crochet, 0.891 for Skubal. Stacey, do the honors.
All right, so Crochet, I'm going to put him as heads.
Okay.
Heads. Crochet
All right,
wins.
so the Red Sox gets the Cy Young. Do you think because Skubal got it last year, they'll go Crochet?
That's also possible. That might actually be a thing. They might do that where they're like, oh, this guy got it last year. Let's give it to this guy. That might actually, I wouldn't be surprised. And again,
I think I'd go Crochet.
They're so close that either choice is perfectly cromulent, you know?
I think I love that word. That's the SAT word of the day. I'd go Crochet. Just because of the higher wins, I still value that because I'm an old school nerd. The ERA is still very low. If Crochet's ERA was over 3, it would be Skubal.
Right.
The ERA is still low. He's more strikeouts than 255. He went over 200 innings, and the WHIP is still very good.
Yeah.
I even though the WHIP is historically good for Skubal, either way, I wouldn't have a problem. I'd agree with you too. I don't think Fried's a snub.
No.
I just think we all kind of like shoot him in as a Cy Young candidate because he was so good all year.
Yeah.
And 19 wins in the 2.86 ERA is kind of hard to keep. In most years, that puts you in the Cy Young candidate.
Yeah. Yeah. Like if those other guys weren't as good as they were, he would be right up there.
Do you think not going over 200 strikeouts kind of hurts?
I think so.
That's a big number nowadays.
I think he has the same innings as Skubal, but I think the strikeouts probably hurt him. But is Fried
same innings as
Skubal,
and Skubal goes for 241 and Fried goes for 180. That's insane.
Right. But yeah, it's not really a snub. Like we do that for like shock value because he wasn't really snubbed. He had a great year. Yes. You know, a really good first year, you know, considering what Carlos Rodon's first year was with the Yankees, Max Fried's was
iconic.
Tops. Yeah. All right. Well, some players had their options picked up and others had their options declined. We'll tell you all about that next.
What's up, guys? This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. You and I make decisions every single day, but on PrizePicks, being right can get you paid. And don't miss the excitement in this sports season. Whether you're following the NFL, NBA, or both, there's no better time to jump in on the action. If you haven't tried it yet, PrizePicks is the simplest way to play. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats, and if you get them right, you win. It takes less than 60 seconds to make your lineup, and you can play anywhere PrizePicks operates. That includes California, Texas, and Georgia. I've been using PrizePicks during both football Sundays and NBA tip-offs, and it keeps every game exciting. I love picking my favorite players like Mahomes and Steph Curry to get involved and see how my predictions play out. The new stacks feature is also a game changer. You can now pick more or less on Steph's points, threes, and assists, all available in the same lineup. Plus, if one of your players leaves early with an injury, the injury reboot feature saves my lineup from a loss. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. So, Stacey, we got some, I think this is going to be happening just for you guys that are always listening to our show. We're going to be getting some significant news coming out in the next couple of episodes just on player options, who gets picked up, who doesn't. You have 5 days from the end of the World Series to make a determination on what you're doing with your options for your players. So these rumors are still trickling in, and we got some news today, actually.
Yes, thank you, MLB Trade Rumors. I was refreshing it for like 2 hours straight, and new things kept coming up. And so the first one, Luis Robert Jr.'s $20 million option was picked up by the White Sox. Good for the White Sox paying money for someone.
Yeah, I don't know if that's necessarily true because they're probably going to trade him before the year.
Right.
This has got to be the year they move him.
Yeah.
$20 million is also too much for Luis Robert, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money. But it's so funny how the White Sox don't like spending money, but then the money they do spend is not like Andrew Benintendi is their highest paid free agent ever. That's just wild.
And that's another example of everyone who wants to kill Cashman for the moves that he doesn't make. He really deserves more flowers here and there for the moves that he doesn't make also.
Right.
Because Benintendi would have been a disaster. And everyone wanted Benintendi back that offseason.
Yes.
Remember? We all killed him. How do you let the White Sox sign someone over the Yankees? Benintendi's been awful.
So I want you to read this next item because I want you to tell me if you think this is shocking.
Left-hander Shota Imanaga has become a free agent. According to the report from Jesse Rogers, the Cubs declined their 3-year, $57 million club option on Imanaga's services from 2026 to 2028. Imanaga subsequently declined his $15 million player option for 2026. Do you think I think it's more shocking on a Cub level or an Imanaga level?
Oh, that's a good question. Because I was seeing some people's reactions to it, and I just thought it was interesting. Which one do you think is more shocking, his side or their side?
Their side.
Yeah,
I
thought so too.
I think it's outrageous on their side. So
I
you're
thought so
talking
too. Okay.
3 years, $57 million. That's $19 million a year for a guy with a 3.73 career ERA that really only got hurt for the first time this year, but still made 25 starts. His rookie year last year, he had a 2.91 ERA. In 173 innings pitched, he had 174 strikeouts. His strikeout numbers went down this year, but still had a 3.73 ERA. This is a functionable starter who's available for you for 20 plus starts a year for $19 million a year. So he's a number 3 starter. $19 million a year. A team like the Cubs turning that down, that takes into age 33, which is still an age where pitchers are still pitching fine.
Right.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get why you decline this option unless the Cubs just know something that we don't publicly.
That's
and
also
they think
possible.
that he's just not going to, they don't trust his arm. They think he's not going to stay healthy. Maybe he's got a partially torn UCL and they know it, but no one else knows it yet. And it's a Tanaka type situation and they're waiting for the time bomb to go off. I think Imanaga's agent is obviously telling him to decline the $15 million because they think he's going to get a long-term deal somewhere. I think it's weird on the Cubs' perspective, though. You're talking $19 million a year for a viable starter in baseball today. This is a team that just brought in, that still has Jamison Tyone making starts for them and is starting big games for them.
Yeah.
Who's got a 5 ERA.
Yeah. I thought that was
very weird.
The next one, the Mets have exercised their $4.75 million club option on left-hander Brooks Raley for 2026. That's according to Anthony DiComo of MLB.com. New York also declined its $2 million club option on right-hander Drew Smith for 2026, and that was per the MLB Players Association media release that listed Smith as a new entry to the free agent market, which is how some people found out other guys were free agents now, which
just
is kind of
side
funny.
note. If a credited baseball reporter is not releasing the news and it's coming out through the Players Association, isn't that kind of an insult?
That's really funny. Like, no, because some people are like, wait a minute, because like the MLBPA will post things on Instagram. It'll be like, this guy's a free agent, this one and this one. It's like,
I kind of feel bad for those guys. Like it doesn't bode well for your free agency going forward.
Well, I mean, it was a $2 million club option. No one's clamoring. No offense, Drew Smith, but like most people don't know who Drew Smith is unless you're a Mets fan, right?
Yeah, but like it means something different when Jack Curry releases the news or Jeff Passan as opposed to MLBPA just leaking it on their
Instagram.
Yeah.
No, it was a release. I'm kidding. But they do that on Instagram. You see some things pop up and you're like, oh, like that's how we find out that this is happening. Interesting. The Brewers announced several moves on Monday. They picked up the $8 million option on Freddie Peralta.
That's a great price for Freddie Peralta.
Yeah.
For the year that he just had. Wow.
Yeah. Brandon Woodruff declined his mutual option.
Obvious, yeah.
And then Milwaukee has declined Danny Jansen's mutual option.
Woodruff, historically, the Brewers do not pay guys that big salary. They minus Christian Yelich.
Right.
Once you really get to that point, they kind of let you walk most of the time. Do you think Woodruff winds up back there? Apparently, he's more of a quiet guy, and he kind of likes that Milwaukee has that atmosphere where it's a little more quiet and he can kind of hide under the radar.
Yeah.
He's pitched at Cy Young levels the last couple of years there. Do you think there's a chance that he kind of stays for a slight discount?
I think so, because if he's the type of guy that doesn't like a lot of attention on him, like Milwaukee's a great baseball town and you have the attention of the fans, but in a national perspective, it's almost like people forget, no offense to Milwaukee, but people forget that Milwaukee exists.
Well, it's great for a player that doesn't want to be like involved in like Yankee attention, right? Mm-hmm. It's a fantastic place to play because you don't have to deal with the pressure of the baseball season. The national media doesn't cover you until October starts, and they're in the playoffs every year.
Right.
The Peralta for $8 million. What a fantastic deal. I mean, God, that's a great deal.
Yeah.
Also, another news in Milwaukee too. Did you see the National League Rookie of the Year markers came out from Baseball Writers of America?
Oh, no. Who? Caleb Durbin?
Take a look.
Really? Yankee fans are punching the air right now.
Yep.
No, they're not. I don't think they are. Well, would they? Well, maybe.
256, 11 homers, 53 RBIs.
What position again?
Third and short.
All right, maybe Yankee fans are punching the air because they could have had Caleb Durbin at short.
And could have had the potential Rookie of the Year second year in a row.
Yeah.
Good work.
Well, no. Right?
He's a Rookie of the Year candidate from Milwaukee.
Who was the one?
Luis Heel.
Volpe? Oh, Heel. That's right. And then Volpe the year before. Right. That's right.
Had 3 straight years.
I forgot about Heel. Sorry.
Whatever.
Luis.
Moving on.
The Diamondbacks declined their $1.35 million club option on right-hander Elvin Rodriguez for the 2026 season, not to be confused with Elmer Rodriguez in the Yankee system. Don't get them confused. And then the Mariners exercised their $6 million club option on Andres Munoz's service for the 2026 season.
Great price.
Yeah. It says, according to MLB trade rumors, the total value of the option is actually $7 million, as he unlocked 4 $250,000 bonuses based on the number of games that he finished in 2025.
Yeah, that's a tremendous deal for him. Been one of the better players out there right now for $7 million, even if it goes up that because of those bonuses. Tremendous deal. As we discussed, the reliever market looks like it is just booming. So any reliever that has an option that is debating declining or keeping, probably going to decline at this point, because if it's a team option, they're going to take it. And if it's a player option, they're going to decline it because the numbers for relievers look like they're going to be astronomical. We'll see if the Yankees get involved. To me, it thinks that the Yankees are going to be more of a bargain basement kind of reliever that they think they can repair. Maybe a Michael Lorenzen, those kind of moves, as opposed to making bigger time moves. Also, speaking of bonuses and stuff, on the Max Fried snubbing, he did not have a bonus in his contract for being a Cy Young finalist.
Oh.
So at least he didn't get screwed over in that sense.
Okay. I know, because all of those contracts all have all those different things that you have that we don't even know about half the time. And then we find out after the fact that...
Yeah, I actually went through his contract earlier just to see if he had it, because I kind of felt bad if he didn't get named, because he was viable to be named. And if he didn't get named, I'm like, oh, that kind of stinks. So good for him.
Yeah. Yeah. Any comments we want to look through before we head out here?
Let's see.
A lot of discussion about players that the Yankees should get. I really don't think they should go after Bo Bichette. Hitting wise, yes, but not defensively.
Yeah, I mean, and if you guys had a major problem with Volpe's fielding last year, and Bichette's like the only guy that defensive metrics are worse than Volpe's.
Right.
So like, I don't know how you'd have, and you'd feel a lot worse about it if you're paying Bichette a significant amount of money.
Yeah, he's gonna.
I know the power numbers are there, but I mean, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
He's projected to get somewhere around $180 million for about 8 years. The Quan stuff is interesting. We're gonna have to go over that in a little bit too, because there are a significant amount of rumors that Quan could be made available for the right price. I think there's better options out there, but I don't think Quan's an awful name to just keep in the realm of a possibility. If that makes sense.
This is the time of year where we get to do that sort of thing. So we will be discussing lots of players who are available. If maybe the Yankees could pull something off, if the Yankees want to go in a totally different direction than we believe they want to go in and acquire someone, there's going to be a lot of different things that we can go through, scenarios that we can go through. I think it's more
because he's a left fielder that everyone wants him.
Right.
Just to make people a little more salty though. Because why not? 272, 11 homers, 56 RBIs. You know whose numbers that pretty much mimics?
Dominguez.
Or Caleb Durbin.
Right. Yeah.
It's just frustrating when Listen, there's been more moves made in the last couple of years where the prospect they've traded has turned into nothing as opposed to something.
Right.
But when they do give up to something, it kind of stings.
It does. It does. Because, I mean, think of all the pitchers that they gave up, especially 2022, like all those names, and how many of them have amounted to
anything.
Right. Like a bunch of them. They're around, like GP. What?
JP Sears, yeah.
Yes.
That's a name.
Sears. Who was the other one?
No, he's been good, JP Sears, but I don't know if he's been like an ace.
Right. No, but he's still around. Like some of these other guys.
Who was
like
the guy? He was one of the top guys in their system. He went to Oakland, started a bunch for them, and then had like a 7 ERA. But he was the guy in the Yankee system for years.
Yes, and I know who you're talking about. And I can't think of his name.
I'm gonna search it right now because I know the name.
Because I can't think of it either, and I'm actually picturing him, which is even funnier. Why can't I think of his name?
I'm gonna pull it up in a second. No, not those guys, not those guys. Now it's not gonna show up for me, and it's gonna really bother me. But you know who I'm talking about, right?
I do.
He was huge in the Yankees system for years and years and years. All we did was hear about him. They moved him in a deal. His name started with a K, right? Why can't I think of it?
Waldichuk? No.
Not Waldichuk, no. Even though people did love Ken Waldichuk for a while. He was a big name in their system, too. JP Sears was a name. Damn, this is going to really bother me because I know it was a big move. Regardless, it was a player in the Yankees system for years and years. Are you looking it up right now?
I am.
Because I'm not getting any luck with searches.
Yeah.
That they were obsessed with, and all you did was hear news about him, and we were always focusing on his numbers back and forth. And they finally moved him at a deadline. And it was, I mean, it was a really big move. They finally moved him, and his numbers were never anything impressive.
Right.
I'm very bothered that I can't think of the name right now. It starts with a K. I'm like 99% sure it starts with a K.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about, and I can't think of it either.
Well, that just shows how much of a major league career he had.
Right. Why can't we find this? This is so odd. Because I'm looking it up on Baseball Reference. I'm looking it up on ESPN. I looked up like trades and stuff, and I still can't find it.
Yeah, we'll bring it up in the next show.
It wasn't part of the. It wasn't the Montas trade, was it?
It could have been. I think it was the Sonny Gray trade actually. Now that I'm thinking of it, because it was years prior.
Oh, so it was because I was thinking of 2022.
Let's see. It was the Reds. No, not now. I'm pulling up the Reds trade, of course. This is going to bother me for a very long time. I'm going to think about it in about 4 minutes after the show ends. Right?
Oh, James Caprillion.
James Caprillion. Yep, that's the name. And people thought he was going to be the next big thing, and then was it the Sonny Gray trade? They moved him.
That was the Sonny Gray trade. Yeah. Yep.
With Dustin Fowler.
Yep.
And Jorge Mateo.
Yep.
Jorge Mateo is the only guy in that deal that actually became a major leaguer.
Yeah, he was with Baltimore, wasn't he?
Yeah, they all went to the major leagues. They all made it to the major leagues, but Dustin Fowler played for a few years for Oakland, never became anything.
See,
James Caprillion got to the major leagues and threw to like a 7 ERA.
Yeah.
And Jorge Mateo is basically a stolen base specialist.
See, I made the mistake I thought it was a 2022 trade, but when you said 2018, I was like, oh, wait, okay, I think I'm remembering this. And I should, because I wrote the transaction analysis for Baseball Prospectus. So I apologize, but it was how many years ago? So
wow,
my bad.
That's a trade and a half.
Yeah,
that's a great trade for the Yankees, actually, when you look back on the Sonny Gray trade.
No, that really was. I was very excited to get Sonny Gray, and I'm very annoyed that the Yankees tried to change his ways of pitching and nearly ruined him. So I'm glad he was able to get away from the Yankees and get his career back because, I mean, the hopes were high, and then they were just like, no, don't throw this pitch, throw this pitch. And it's like, he likes throwing the other pitch that you don't want him to throw. So why are you doing this? So I'm glad the Yankees revamped their pitching program. And I think that things would have been different if Matt Blake were around when the Sonny Gray trade happened.
Can't help but agree with you. It's I think Sonny Gray would have been one of the steals of the century for the Yankees if they had Matt Blake in the system.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you guys for making Locked On Yankees your first listen today. For your second listen, find Locked On MLB. Baseball guru Sully brings you a daily blend of humor and baseball, keeping you updated on every rumor and story throughout the offseason. You can find Locked On MLB, there you go, on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. So that'll do it for this live edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gatsoulias.
And I'm Brian McCann. We'll catch you guys tomorrow.